Not all heroes wear capes, and some don't even get a standing ovation. Today, we're spotlighting the unsung legends, the quiet warriors, the brave souls who gave it all, and probably didn't even make the trailer. These are the top 10 selfless sacrifices in movies and TV shows you may not have seen, but definitely won't forget. So grab a tissue, or 10, let's dive in. Land. Land is quiet, raw, and devastating. Edie retreats to the wilderness after tragedy rips her life apart. She cuts ties with everyone, ready to disappear into the snow and trees, to vanish with her pain. When she nearly dies, a hunter named Miguel finds her, nurses her back to life, and teaches her to live off the land. Slowly, Edie rebuilds. She learns to hunt, to chop wood, to face the winter, and to feel again. For a while, that's enough. Then Miguel falls sick. Suddenly, Edie is the only thing standing between him and death. She could run. She could hide. She doesn't. Instead, she risks the fragile life she's pieced together to save the man who saved her. She faces people, hospitals, roads, all the things she ran from, to bring him help. Edie's sacrifice isn't dying for someone. It's living for someone. She gives up her hiding place, her grief's last fortress, so someone else can breathe. In the end, Land reminds us, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is come back to the world, for someone who showed you how. Auntie Lee, House of Humteen, South Korea. Genre, coming-of-age drama. In House of Hummingbird, 14-year-old Yoonhee drifts through life unnoticed until she meets her free-spirited, quietly rebellious teacher, Auntie Lee. Lee becomes the first adult who sees Yoonhee, really sees her, encouraging her voice, validating her dreams, and giving her a safe emotional space in a chaotic home. But when Auntie Lee falls seriously ill, she hides it, focusing instead on guiding her student toward independence. In one of the most heartbreaking moments, Lee sacrifices her energy and final days to make sure Yoonhee feels loved, strong, and capable. She doesn't beg for attention or pity. She gives everything and asks for nothing. A mentor, a lifeline, a quiet, beautiful goodbye. In a world that ignores girls like Yoonhee, Auntie Lee's selfless, fading presence becomes a loud, lasting legacy. 8. Tati, Tigers Are Not Afraid. In a world where innocence is a luxury, Tigers Are Not Afraid shows us the cost of surviving childhood under cartel rule. Tati, a young orphan, is part of a makeshift family of street kids, hiding, stealing, surviving in the shadows of violence. She clutches her stuffed tiger like it's the last piece of normal in a world gone mad. When danger comes too close and her friends are targeted, Tati doesn't run. Instead, she lures a hitman away, knowing exactly what she's doing. She gives the others a chance to live, sacrificing herself in silence. Her death is off-screen, but the aftermath is unforgettable. The tiger's still there. Tati isn't. This isn't just a tragedy, it's a gut punch. A child who had every right to be protected ends up being the protector. It's the kind of scene that sticks with you, not because of gore or action, but because a little girl stood taller than the monsters chasing her. Tati's final act echoes louder than any adult hero's. She didn't just believe in magic, she became it. In the darkest places, her light doesn't fade. The Northman, 22. The Northman is Viking revenge at its bloodiest, but at its heart, it's about one final sacrifice. Amleth grows up fueled by one thing: vengeance. His uncle murdered his father, stole his mother, and destroyed his birthright. Years of rage shape him into a brutal force. When freedom finally calls, Amleth could have run, with his lover, his unborn twins, a chance at peace. But the past doesn't let go. Amleth knows if he lives, his enemies will come for them. So he does what warriors do. He turns back, alone. He faces his uncle in a volcano's shadow, fighting to end the curse that made him. There's no crown waiting, no army, just him, steel and fire. He dies on that mountain. But his sacrifice forges a future untainted by revenge. His children live. His lover lives. The cycle of betrayal dies with him. In the end, Amleth's greatest conquest isn't a kingdom, it's breaking the chain. A father who gave up his future so his family could have one. That's not just a king's duty, that's the raw heart of a true legend. C's father, Prospect. Prospect is a gritty sci-fi survival tale that trades space operatics for muddy realism. C and her father land on a toxic alien moon to mine for precious gems, but nothing goes according to plan. Ambushed by scavengers, stranded without backup, and surrounded by poison air, survival feels like a coin flip. C's father isn't a warm dad. He's stern, paranoid, and laser focused on the mission. But when the scavengers come for C, he doesn't hesitate. He fights, he kills, he dies. And in doing so, he gives her just enough time and space to escape. It's not a noble death in the heroic sense. It's gritty, bloody, and frankly a little messy. But it's real. He doesn't have a long monologue or a big reveal. His love is shown in action, brutal, unspoken, and final. C's survival is earned, not gifted. She has to push forward, make deals, trust strangers, and outsmart killers. But she only gets that chance because her father didn't flinch when it mattered. In the end, she walks away. He doesn't. And that's the deal parents make, whether on Earth or a poison moon. 5 Lee, The Rain, 2018 to 2020 Denmark. In The Rain, the apocalypse doesn't come with zombies or aliens. It comes in the form of deadly rainfall. Survival is cruel, chaotic, and built on hard choices. But Leah is different. She's gentle, hopeful, and kind, a rarity in a show full of broken people. When her group is ambushed by the infected, panic erupts. There's no time, no backup, just seconds between life and death. So Leah makes the call. She turns back, faces the infected, and gives her friends the time they need to escape. There's no guarantee they'll even make it. She knows that, but she does it anyway. Her death isn't cinematic. It's fast, terrifying, and painful. And still, it might be the most heroic moment in the entire show. Because Leah wasn't the fighter or the strategist. She was just the one who cared the most. And in a world where that kind of compassion gets you killed, her final act is both devastating and unforgettable. Leah didn't survive the end of the world. But because of her, someone else did. And that makes her more than just a casualty. She's a legend. 4. Nico, Another Life. In Netflix's Another Life, humanity's first contact with aliens quickly becomes a nightmare. Captain Nico Breckenridge leads a deep space crew through one crisis after another. Mutiny, alien threats, emotional breakdowns, you name it. But in the show's final moments, Nico makes the ultimate decision. With her ship trapped inside a powerful alien construct that threatens all life on Earth, she chooses to stay behind. There's no debate, no dramatics, just resolve. Nico knows someone has to make sure the aliens don't use the artifact as a weapon. She sends her crew to safety and stays to disable the threat, knowing full well she won't survive. Her sacrifice isn't a blaze of glory. It's calm, calculated leadership. She doesn't beg for thanks. She doesn't expect a memorial. She just does what a real leader does. She protects. Nico's final act isn't just about duty. It's about love for her family, for her crew, for a planet that may never even know her name. In the cold vacuum of space, Nico's sacrifice burns the brightest. 3. Julius, The Platform, 2019 Spain. The platform drops you into a nightmare, a vertical prison where food is delivered top to bottom, and the lower you are, the less you eat, if anything at all. Enter Julius. Not a leader, not a rebel, just a guy who says, "This isn't right." When the protagonist decides to ride the platform down and force food distribution to the bottom floors, Julius volunteers to help. It's a suicide mission masked as a moral crusade. They descend through madness, blood, and desperation. As expected, not everyone's a fan of sharing. Julius is brutally attacked, fatally wounded, but he doesn't back down. He continues, dragging himself deeper into the darkness so the message, fairness, compassion, rebellion, reaches the bottom. He dies, not for glory, but to prove that change is possible if someone's willing to pay for it. In a system built to devour the weak, Julius chose to lift them up, literally. And even though the ending is ambiguous, one thing is clear. Without Julius, the message never moves. He gave his life to fight a system designed to forget people like him. Now, we won't. Billy, The Nightingale. Set in colonial Tasmania, The Nightingale is a brutal, unflinching look at trauma, revenge, and power. But in the middle of all that darkness stands Billy, an Aboriginal tracker who reluctantly helps Claire, a young Irish woman seeking vengeance after soldiers destroy her family. At first, they're strangers, then unlikely allies, then something closer. Billy has suffered too: racism, genocide, violence that never stops. But he doesn't let that define him. He protects Claire, teaches her, and gives her something no one else could: respect and healing. And when their journey reaches its final bloody chapter, Billy makes the ultimate sacrifice, throwing himself in harm's way so Claire can survive. He doesn't have to. No one expects him to, but he chooses to. In a world trying to erase him, Billy chooses defiance through compassion. His death is devastating, not because it's shocking, but because it was avoidable, preventable, and still necessary. He died for a woman who, like him, had lost everything. And in doing so, Billy becomes more than a helper. He becomes the heart of the story. One helicopter sacrifice, No Escape, 2020 Russia. No Escape isn't just a disaster film, it's a love letter to real-life heroes, firefighters, rescuers, and the ones who run into the flames when everyone else runs away. In one unforgettable scene, a group of children is trapped as a wildfire closes in. A rescue helicopter arrives just in time, but there's a problem. It's too heavy. They toss out every non-essential item to lighten the load, but it's not enough. Then comes the quiet moment. One of the rescuers gently tells the children to close their eyes. "We're about to take off," he says, calm, kind, steady. While their eyes are shut, he quietly steps off the helicopter. The chopper lifts. He stays behind. No last words, no dramatic music, just one man making the hardest choice in the softest way possible. It's not a grand sacrifice, it's a human one. He doesn't need recognition. The kids will never know, but he knows. And that's enough. In that moment, No Escape becomes more than a survival movie. It becomes a tribute to every real hero who made the same choice, off-screen, without applause. From burning forests to zombie hordes, from silent goodbyes to galaxy-saving farewells, these characters showed us what true sacrifice really looks like. No magic swords, no applause, just heart, grit, and one final choice that changed everything. If one of these moments hit you in the gut, tell us in the comments which one broke you the most. And hey, let's give these lesser-known stories the spotlight they deserve. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more epic moments that aren't always front and center. Because sometimes, the quietest heroes leave the loudest impact. Thanks for watching.